discussion on a short topic but a very very important topic, the blood supply of our nose. Okay, the blood supply, maybe they will ask what is the blood supply of the nasal septum, or they will ask what is the put a proper diagram and write in detail about the blood supply of the lateral wall of the nose, or they may ask about the little area of nose, which is a 2 mark, which is a definite 2 mark for you, and they may ask about the other plexus, which is a Woodruff's plexus, or they may ask in other word, that is a Kieselbach's plexus. This blood supply of the nose is a very very important question for you. Okay, so I am epistasis we will deal in a separate chapter. This is a short chapter on our blood supply of our nose. Okay, so what are the components of our blood supply? What arteries will contribute? The very very important one. Okay, so coming on to the blood supply of the nose, our nose receives its blood supply from both the internal carotid artery and the external carotid artery. Both internal carotid artery and external carotid artery. What happens here is, I am drawing the picture of the nose. 1 minute, I will just draw the picture of our, first thing we will deal with our nasal septum. Okay, nasal septum. Okay, so what happens? Now, the internal carotid artery will give a branch that is a ophthalmic artery. Internal carotid artery will give a branch which is called as the ophthalmic artery. The ophthalmic artery will further divide it into two branches. One is a anterior ethmoidal artery, and other is a posterior ethmoidal artery. Clear? So, internal carotid artery has a branch which is ophthalmic artery, and ophthalmic artery is further divided into two branches, anterior ethmoidal artery and the posterior ethmoidal artery, both supply the nasal septum. Okay, see my diagram here, anterior ethmoidal artery and posterior ethmoidal artery. Okay, and now the external carotid artery will give a major branch, that is a maxillary artery, and the maxillary artery will give a branch called as a sphenopalatine artery. Okay, maxillary artery will give a branch, the sphenopalatine artery. The sphenopalatine artery runs through the sphenopalatine foramen. Here there will be a sphenopalatine foramen. From the sphenopalatine foramen, it will go and supply the major part of the septum is concerned. Okay, and the maxillary artery also gives one more branch, which is called as the greater palatine artery. Okay, it goes up and supplies this part of the nose is concerned. Okay, greater palatine artery. And from the external carotid artery, there comes one more branch, that is a facial artery. Okay, from the facial artery, there goes the superior labial. Labial is lip. Okay, superior labial artery, which goes along the lower part of the floor and supplies this area. Okay, so now blood supply of the nose, internal carotid artery gives a branch, ophthalmic artery, which has further two branches, anterior ethmoidal artery, posterior ethmoidal artery, and then external carotid artery, maxillary artery. From the maxillary artery, there goes a sphenopalatine artery, which comes out to the sphenopalatine foramen and supplies a major part of the nose is concerned. Okay, and the sphenopalatine artery is called as artery of epistasis. When they ask you the artery of epistasis in a MCQ, it is a sphenopalatine artery, is the artery of epistasis. Okay, and the next branch from the maxillary artery, the greater palatine artery, supplies the floor and the palatine area of the nose, and from the facial artery there is a branch, superior labial artery, which goes and supply the anterior and the inferior part of the nose is concerned. Okay, this is regarding the anatomy of the blood supply of the nasal septum is concerned. Nasal septum. Okay, so coming on to the okay, before going that, coming on to the blood supply of our lateral nasal wall. Similar to that, everything is similar. There is no divisions in it, everything is similar. Okay, so again there is a Again there is a branch from the anterior ethmoid artery running over there, posterior ethmoid artery running over there, and the sphenopalatine artery will give a branch that is called as a, now it is in the lateral wall, right? Now we are dealing with the lateral wall. So this branch is called as the lateral nasal branch of sphenopalatine artery. Lateral nasal branch of sphenopalatine artery. Okay, again here there will be a palatine branches, and here there will be a from the infraorbital nerve, from the infraorbital from the maxillary artery again, here I am putting the maxillary artery, from the maxillary artery again there occurs a infraorbital branch, from the infraorbital branch there will be one more branch supplying the lower part of the nose. Okay, so these are the blood supply of the nasal lateral wall of the nose is concerned. Not much important. The septum is very important here, not much important, but the blood supply appears to be the same. Again from the internal carotid artery, anterior ethmoid, posterior ethmoid, from the external carotid artery, the maxillary artery, sphenopalatine artery. Again here the sphenopalatine artery, that branch is called as a lateral nasal branch of sphenopalatine artery. Sphenopalatine artery is the artery of epistasis. Okay, clear? So coming on to the most important one now. Okay, so now this area, I am just marking this area. Okay, this area what I marked as how many arteries? This area what I marked as how many arteries? 1, 2, 3, 4. So this area what I marked is called as Little's area of nose. Okay, so Little's area of nose, otherwise called as Little's area is otherwise called as Little's area, otherwise called as Kieselbach's plexus. Little's area, otherwise called as Kieselbach's plexus of the nose. It lies exactly in the area where I am touching, that is in the anterior and inferior part of the nasal septum. Okay, in this area there will be accumulation of this 4 arteries. What are the arteries here? A very important repeated MCQ and a very important short notes. It receives a branch from the anterior ethmoid artery, it receives a branch from the sphenopalatine artery, it receives a branch from the greater palatine artery and the superior labial artery, but not from the posterior ethmoid artery. Don't forget this. Okay, it does not receive a branch from the posterior ethmoid artery. Okay, don't mention that. Fine. So it receives 4 arteries: anterior ethmoid, sphenopalatine, greater palatine, and the superior labial artery. So this area lies in the anterior and inferior part of the nasal septum, and it is the most common cause for our anterior epistasis. Say the most common reason, most commonly seen in children, and the most common reason is our habitual nose pricking, or when the patient is exposed to some when there is a air current because of some dryness in this front part, the blood vessels, the plexus may just open up, producing anterior epistasis. But the most common is a nose pricking in a child. Okay, this is Kieselbach's plexus is concerned. Okay, and one more thing, just below this Kieselbach's plexus, or just below this and behind our columella area. Okay, just this is a columella, just behind this columella area and below this Kieselbach's plexus, there occurs a venous column that is called as retrocolumellar vein. Retrocolumellar vein. Again, it is most common cause for venous bleeding in the anterior part. Venous bleeding. So where it lies, as the name indicates, retrocolumella, that is in the anterior part of the nasal septum, again just behind the columella. Okay, this is retrocolumellar vein. So coming on to the next important 2 marks for you, the third one is this Woodruff's plexus. Woodruff's plexus is not here, it's a Woodruff's plexus. Woodruff's plexus is a posterior plexus. Okay, so in some books it will be given as a venous plexus, some book it will be given as arterial plexus, but consider it as a venous plexus. It is a posterior plexus, venous plexus, located along the posterior part of the lateral wall of the nose, maybe along the posterior end of the inferior turbinate and the middle turbinate. Okay, it is a posterior plexus and a venous plexus located along the posterior end of the lateral wall of the nose. Okay, and it is the most common cause for our posterior epistaxis. Okay, and in whom it is very common? It is more common in adults rather than in children, and usually the most common reason will be a hypertension. I will explain this at a later thing while I explain the epistaxis essay question also. Okay, this is regarding Woodrow's plexus is concerned. Okay, so this is regarding the blood supply of our septum, which is very important, and the blood supply of lateral wall of the nose. And as I explained, there are two plexus. One is the Little's area or the Kieselbach plexus, and the Woodrow's plexus, which you need to know. Fine. Epistaxis I will deal in a separate chapter. Thank you.